Hello parents, welcome to this orientation presentation for the 2020-2021 school year. This is an unusual school year and this is an unusual orientation presentation. Usually we have an orientation meeting that is held the first Monday of the week before we come back to school. Unfortunately, because of the global pandemic, we are not able to meet in person. And so I hope you bear with me as I present information relative to the school year, protocols and procedures that we will follow as a school. Thank you for joining me. And so we want to welcome you. We want to welcome our new and returning families. We look forward to a healthy and a successful school year. We are as nervous as you are. We know that there is a lot on the line, but we look forward to keeping you, our parents, our students, and our teachers safe in our community. And we are committed to not only teaching your children, but also keeping them safe. As I mentioned in previous WhatsApp and email communications, we have a smaller community this year. There are 4 classes and there are 4 teachers who are returning to teach those classes. We have Miss Curry, who is returning to teach our 2 and 3-year-olds. She is teaching a combined class of 2s and 3s, and she is also returning as our head teacher. We have Miss Butler, who is returning as our teacher for our 3-year-olds. And she, again, like I said, is returning for another school year. We have a new teacher in the person of Mrs. Bryce Gibson. And Mrs. Bryce Gibson comes highly recommended by her former supervisor at Gleniston Center for Learning, Mrs. Roxanne Shipman, and she is most recently from Over the Rainbow. Miss Bryce Gibson is teaching our group of 4-year-olds, and returning for another year is Miss Duncan. Miss Duncan is teaching our 4 and 5-year-olds. She also has a combined class, and this is Miss Duncan's second year at Dayspring, and she is again teaching our 4 and 5-year-olds. Now that's our teaching staff. And so there are 4 teachers, and they are teaching 10 children each. We have our teacher assistants who will be assisting our teachers, and they are Miss Charm, and Miss Charm is our general teacher assistant, and she is returning for another year. Miss Charm has been with us for quite a while. We also have Miss Vanessa returning, and Miss Vanessa is a specialist teacher assistant in that she is the learning support teacher. And so we welcome our teacher assistants as well as our teaching staff. And other staff members are myself, Mrs. Bain, and I am the director. And we also have Miss Simonet returning. Miss Simonet is our administrator, and she is the person who usually greets parents in the morning. And finally, to round up our staff at Dayspring for the upcoming year, we have Miss Clark. And Miss Clark is returning as in the position of cook and custodian. And Miss Clark is our longest serving staff member. And so we welcome all of our teachers back, and we are proud of our teachers, and we welcome Miss Gibson, who is joining our team. So thank you, teachers, and welcome. And so I'm very proud of Dayspring, and I'm proud of our vision. Really, my goal in opening Dayspring and for continuing with this school is to help children to develop a positive self-esteem. And I think that that's something so important, and it's also something that begins in early childhood. And I think that we are on we are the gatekeepers, really, because we are so important in helping a child in these very, very formative years. And so our vision is we help families raise successful children through educational opportunities that develop a child's positive self-esteem and positive self-worth. I talked about our vision, and our mission is the vehicle that helps us to fulfill our vision. And so our mission is that we provide our parents and teachers with practical tools to fill our vision by offering our students an inclusive preschool education that motivates and challenges and yet still fun, because we know that the way that children learn is through play. So we have to make it engaging and fun. Our parents an opportunity to be engaged in the learning process through various avenues of communication. And it's going to be a little different this year in that we may not be able to have all of the meetings that we did, but hopefully we'll still be able to communicate, and by offering learning platforms. And finally, our teachers, appropriate training sessions that so that they will be properly supported in their education and in their teaching. With our vision and our mission being um, clearly articulated, what another important aspect of our school environment is uh, is an inclusion model, which means that we accept all abilities and all levels. We are very sensitive and very passionate about including all students in our learning program, and we feel as though typically learning students and special needs children learn from each other. And it is a synergistic and a two-way type of relationship where each person in the community um, is rewarded and gets something by working together. And so we're sensitive to the needs of each of our students. We don't turn away any student who may have more obvious special needs. We practice inclusion in the classroom, inclusive education, and we have integrated classrooms. So we feel as though each child will get the care and attention that they need in order to support and to meet his developmental needs in our classrooms. In order to fulfill our vision and our mission, there are certain core values that we feel like we need to agree on. And those core values are what keep us as a school community working together for one common goal. We feel like we need to work together to fulfill our vision and our mission, and the values, the core values that we agree upon as a staff, and we hope that you buy into as a parent who is a part of our team, is one, quality. We believe in quality. We believe in offering a quality education to our children. We believe in offering a quality product to you, our parents, and our families. We also believe in teamwork. We believe in teamwork as a staff. We believe that we should work together, um, and that all of the children belong to us. We work together as a team to make sure that we bring out the best in each child. However, we also believe in teamwork with parents. And so we feel as though the parents and the school and the teachers need to work together for the good of the child. We believe and we value customer commitment. And so we are committed to help fulfill our customers' um, needs and to deliver the best quality service to our customers. We also believe in collaboration. And this is another core value that we hold um, we hold to a very important standard. Collaboration amongst us as teachers, our staff, but we also believe that we need to collaborate with you as parents as well. We believe in diversity. You can see that in our commitment to include all children in our program. We believe in diversity also in families. So you will see that there are all kinds of families here in our school community. And with those of diversity, with that diversity of persons, whether they be diversity in race, in religion, in beliefs, we also respect that each person has their own views, and whether we agree with those views, we respect a person's um, uh, ability to believe and do what they'd like to do. Um, and so respect is another core value. We also value faith. We are a community of faith, and we feel as though faith is something that we need to teach our children as well. And so those are our core values, and we are committed to working together to make our vision and our mission a reality. Our vision, our mission, and our core values have not changed. They've been the same. We have had the same core values for many years, but this year is a little different in that we are challenged by trying to achieve the same goals, but in a very different environment. This environment is an environment of uncertainty, and so our challenge is that we need to rise to the occasion. We need to still work towards achieving these goals in this uncertain environment. And the environment is uncertain because there are some challenges that we have never faced. And one of those challenges is COVID-19 and just the sheer threat of physically difficult illness. Another is that we're in an environment now where having meetings, having get-togethers is a little difficult and near impossible. We're also in an environment where we are not able to have assemblies, have school plays, have community activities, have field trips, those kinds of things. That kind of environment is our challenge. And one of the ways that we seek to still carry on with our goals is through our sick policy. Our sick policy is not debatable. Our sick policy is not changed. Our sick policy is the same as it was. However, we are committed this year to enforcement even more diligently than we have ever enforced our sick policy. And so if your child has any of the following symptoms, we advise you, we plead with you not to send your child to school. And those symptoms are cold draining from the nose, a fever of 100.4 or more, vomiting, pink eye or conjunctivitis, a throat infection, impetigo, which are sores on the legs that become infected, or anywhere on the body really that become infected. Impetigo is highly contagious. And so if your child has impetigo, please do not send them to school. Coughing, ringworm, diarrhea. Now, a note at the bottom says, a child with severe coughing, diarrhea, vomiting, or fever may return after 24 hours, it says, of being symptom-free without medication. A child with ringworm or an infection must not return without a doctor's note stating that it's okay for him to return and not less than 24 hours after beginning antibiotics. And I just want to amend that a little bit in this environment. And I want to say that if your child has been sent home for any of the symptoms such as coughing, diarrhea, vomiting, runny nose, and what have you, we are not satisfied, unfortunately, as a school community, as a teaching community, of them just being symptom-free without medication. What we need in order for that child's return is a doctor's note to say that the child is not contagious and that it's okay for the child's return to school. Unfortunately, I know that that is going to be problematic for some parents, but we have to respect each other and we have to make it this a safe environment where we protect each other. Protecting each other means that we pledge to each other that there are certain standards that we are going to keep uh, high and that we will um, remain committed to. One of the ways that we can protect each other as a school is that we have decided to have pods of students that will remain together throughout the school day. We protect each other by being honest and not sending your child to school if your child has a little fever or if your child has a little runny nose. There is no such thing in this environment as a little fever or a little runny nose or a little cough. If your child has any symptoms, we insist that you keep your child at home. I would say that it is better to err on the side of caution and not send your child to school than to send a sick child to school and it have disastrous consequences, such as a child with COVID-19 infecting other children, infecting teachers, or infecting the wider community by a child taking a virus home. It is unfortunately not only about you. We have to pledge to protect each other, and we as a staff are um, we are the protectors of all of the children in our school community. Last year, one of the services that we offered was we administered medication to children whose parents were needed us to. This year, we are still giving that service. We will administer medication to children who need it. However, unfortunately, we no longer are able to administer cough medication, medication for runny noses, or fever reducers. Because if your child has a cough, has a runny nose, and needs medication to stop that runny nose, or has a fever and needs medication to reduce the fever, he should not be at school. And so the medication that we will help to administer are medications um, for illnesses that are non-communicable or not contagious. And so the with us administering medication, we have to have a doctor's note that lets us know that the medication is not for a contagious illness, but it's for some other kind of situation that's going on, such as, for example, a child may have an asthmatic condition or a child may have an allergy. We definitely need communication from the doctor. Be aware that no medication will be administered to your child unless you complete a permission form in the office and give it to your child's teacher. We've been talking a lot about safety protocols and procedures that we are administering, but first and foremost, we are teachers, and learning is our business, and we are committed to teaching. With our committed to teaching, we are excited to continue our learning support program. And as you may or may not be aware, our learning support was started maybe about 3 years ago, and it's a collaborative program that was started with the staff at Seahorse Institute, um, where we implemented something called the Magnet program. And so we're so excited to continue in this learning support program during this year. We are committed to our learning support program because we truly believe that early intervention is the key to helping children who are displaying signs of having academic difficulties later in primary school. We are aware and have experienced the reality of the research that states that 15 minutes of early intervention at the preschool level, and that's where we are at the preschool level. So if we intervene with a child who may be showing difficulty of assimilating information, of recalling information, of just an inability to grasp the concepts that are being taught in preschool, if we intervene for 15 minutes um, during a tutoring session, it is equivalent to 2 hours of tutoring in primary school. And so, of course, it is much more effective for us to intervene in early childhood in preschool. And so we are committed and excited about our early intervention program. As with any program that involves children, parents have a very important role to play, and we believe and have proven the importance of homeschool connection. So parents can help in not only our early intervention, but in many other areas of early childhood by being very connected to the school and being very involved in the school environment so that there are better outcomes for their child. There has been research that has also shown that children whose parents are highly involved in the school community have better outcomes, are more disciplined, um, are able to um, perform better academically. And so we encourage parents to stay involved at this level, but also remain involved with their child's education the higher their child um, gets in their educational life. Dayspring offers several ways and has several suggestions on how parents can be involved. Now, we know that this year is going to be a little bit different in that, one of the ways or several of the ways that we have asked parents to become involved in years past is, for example, going on field trips, coming into the classroom, volunteering, um, things like that. Unfortunately, this year that is not going to be possible. However, there are ways that you can be involved in your child's education. One is attend in-person parent meetings. There will be in-parent meetings, but there will not be group meetings. So they will be individual, and the teacher will let you know when those meetings will be available. Of course, at any point, if you want to have a meeting with a child's teacher, we encourage you to call the office and let us know. We are not encouraging parents to just walk down into the classrooms if they'd like to speak with the teacher. Unfortunately, that won't be possible. However, scheduled meetings are possible. We also encourage you to watch virtual conferences such as this one. Um, there are going to be other opportunities where we have conferences, where we have presentations, where we have um, group meetings virtually. So get involved that way. We encourage you to read the skills covered information sheets that we are sending home every week. We are encouraging you to reinforce the concepts that are being discussed on those skills covered and to ask questions. Whenever you read any communication from the school, ask questions if there's anything that you're not sure about. And finally, keep in communication with your child's teacher. Like I said, um, when you are involved in that way with your school, research has shown that it equals better outcomes, behavioral and academic, for your child. And the arrival process will look a little different this year. Students should be at school no later than 8:30. Now, morning activities begin at 8:30. Circle time, the actual formal lesson of the day, begins at 9. It's important that your child arrives on time at school every day. Children should begin their day feeling prepared, comfortable, and relaxed. Now, the office does open earlier. The office doors will open at 7:30 to receive students whose parents must go to work early. However, students don't actually have to be in class until 8:30, latest 9 o'clock. When children arrive in the morning, we are asking parents to remain in their cars and wait for a signal from the staff. There will be staff members who are going to be in and out of the office. We are trying to limit the amount of persons in the office, and so we're asking you to remain in your car until you're actually signaled to come out. Staff members will come out with a questionnaire, um, and that questionnaire needs to be completed every morning by parents. And the questionnaire I'll talk more about the questionnaire in another slide, but we just want to understand, and we expect you to be honest with us to let us know exactly where you and your family stands as far as COVID-19 or other illnesses are concerned. When the child comes out of the car and before the child gets into the school, we're going to ask the child to step into a little, not quite a bucket, but just a little flat area that has sanitizer to sanitize the bottom of the shoes, um, and then sanitize their hands before they actually go into the building. When they enter the building, there will be a cool mist sanitizer, a handheld sanitizer that will be that will have cool mist, and the child's belongings, the child's bags, the child's clothing will be sanitized using the cool mist sanitizer. The child will then be taken to the restroom where the child will wash their hands, get their face shield, and then go into the classroom. Students, unfortunately, should not bring toys. We don't want a lot of items coming back and forth between home and school, and so we're asking you not to send personal items to school with your child. The questionnaire that will be completed will have the following questions. And we just, like I said, we are needing to get an indication of what's happening with your family and your child. Health-wise. So one of the questions will be, did you give your child a fever-reducing medication such as aspirin, ibuprofen, or acetaminophen within the last 24 hours? Have you given your child cough medication within the last 24 hours? Does your child have a cough, a runny nose, diarrhea, shortness of breath, or vomiting? Have you been in close contact or cared for someone with COVID-19 within the last 14 days? Have you or a member of your immediate family been directed to self-quarantine by a health care provider? Have you recently returned from travel to another country or another island within the last 14 days? A staff member is going to bring this questionnaire out to you, and we're going to ask you to complete it before your child or you come into the school building or into the office. We know that many of you are used to coming into the school and would like to come into the school every morning to drop off your child. Um, but we're asking you to remain on the outside unless you absolutely have to come to the school. We're trying to limit the interaction, the parent interaction action inside the school um, to that of necessities only. So we're asking that you be cooperative in that way. And we're going to explain that there are ways that you can still get the items that you need. For example, if you need to purchase face shields or uniforms or lunch or anything like that, we will provide a means for you to do that. But we're asking you to limit your coming in and out of the school as much as possible. As I stated in communications with you by email and WhatsApp, um, only one lunch bag will come into the school. There will be no backpacks allowed. We're also asking that you allow your child to leave their personal items, toys, or what have you, either at home or in the car. Students should not bring toys or other items um, into the school. We're asking, again, that your child only brings one lunch bag into the school. Toys and other items need to remain in the car or at home. You can have your child have lunch in two ways, either by sending a packed lunch from home, or you can take advantage of the school lunch program. If you send lunch from home, we're asking, as we always have, that you send the lunch warmed already in a wide mouth thermos. And as I have mentioned in the past, you can temper the thermos that you send by pouring boiling water in the thermos before you put the warmed food in it. So what I would advise is you boil water, pour it inside the thermos, then proceed to heat the child's lunch up on the stove, um, and then pour the water out and put it inside the thermos. Once that thermos is sealed, that lunch stays hot. The teacher will be sure to serve it in a plate at lunchtime. In addition, all students need to have two snack times, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The morning snack time is a fruit snack time, and that snack time, the child must have either a fresh fruit, a dried fruit, or a canned fruit. And I know that there are some parents who have complained that the child does not eat fruit. Unfortunately, this is not a negotiable snack period. Um, a fruit snack, those little gummy things, are not considered fruit, and we would ask you to not send them for any snack time because they are actually candy. Please do not send those gummy snacks to school. We ask you to please try and keep the snacks healthy. And so that would involve something like applesauce, or it would involve carrot sticks. You can send any other kind of healthy snack. The afternoon snack time can be a healthy snack like yogurt or applesauce or some other kind of healthy snack. We advise you not to send those gummies. We advise you to always send a fresh fruit, dried fruit, or canned fruit. We're trying to assist in keeping the children making healthy choices. So please be cooperative in this respect. Lunch menus are available in the office. You also received one when you got your information package, your welcome package. If you have not received a welcome package, please say something, send us a note so that we can put one in your child's bag. In that information package, that welcome package, you would have received your meal schedule. You would have received a lot of other information that talk about what is happening in the days to come, about school, what is expected, what is allowed and what is not allowed. You would have received um, your parent agreements. You would have received your information package. You would have received your parent handbook. So if you haven't gotten one of those yet, please get that. But what you have in the front of you is your lunch menu. Um, and be reminded that lunch can be purchased from the school in sets of 5 tickets at a cost of $20 per 5 tickets. Now, we've indicated to you that we're trying to limit the parents that come into the office. And so what we are proposing for the purchase of lunch or face shields or uniforms is that you get an envelope from the office, that you insert the exact change for the items that you want. You write your child's name on the front of the envelope. You write what it is you would like to purchase, and you give it to the person who comes to get your child from the car, or you put it in your child's bag. After which you call the office at 393-1879 to confirm that we've received it, or you text the school on the school cell phone, that's 816-5729, to confirm that we've received it. The most important thing in this whole interaction is to stay in communication with us. When you tell us what you want, we'll tell you how much it costs. We can do all of that through the phone, or through email, or through text. When we tell you how much it costs, we will send an envelope in your child's bag. You can just put the cash in there, and we will then confirm that we've received it. So there are certain protocols that we um, must follow in order for us to have a safe and successful school year. And one of those, well, a few of those protocols are recommendations from the Ministry of Education and from the CDC. And a protocol that we have uh, begun at Dayspring is that we have decided to have children in pods, and the children will remain with their pod. The pods will be no greater than 10 children each, and a pod represents a classroom. And so the students will not go into any other class. The students from one pod will not go into the classroom, um, into the another classroom of another pod for combined activities such as combined assembly, combined devotions. That will not happen this year. It happened a lot last year. That will not happen this year. The students will remain in their pods. Students also, another protocol is that students will also not share manipulatives. And by manipulatives, I mean, for example, counters, um, counting bears or counting chips or um, shapes, manipulative shapes, crayons, pencils, those kinds of things will not be shared. Other classroom materials will not be shared. Each child will have their own supply kit, and that's what that shoebox size, the clear shoebox size container, that will hold all of your child's supplies, and that will not be shared with other children. Students will only go to the playground with their pods. And finally, another protocol is that classroom surfaces will be sanitized throughout the day. And so we're not just cleaning once in the morning and once in the evening as we have done in the past, but classrooms will be sanitized and cleaned throughout the day to try and limit the spread of not just COVID-19, but any illness. I think this is going to be good going forward, whether we have COVID-19 among us or not. I think the protocols that we are implementing are good for just the general health and safety of any school or classroom situation. Any of you that has heard a presentation that I have made um, will hear me say that dirty means fun. Dirty means that the child has had fun and has engaged in a lot of learning. And so I know sometimes that, a lot of parents are squeamish about their child getting into dirt and sand. Um, but our playground is covered in sand, and the theory behind that is that the sand makes a softer surface in case of, sorry, a softer surface in case of falls. Preschoolers go outside every day. We do not keep the preschooler inside for fear of getting dirty. Um, and so, if a child doesn't go on the playground, it's for some other reason, like the child is being a privilege is being withheld, and so um, all children go on the playground every day, unless, of course, the weather doesn't permit. If you're squeamish about the sand getting into your child's hair, which I completely understand, I would advise you to send a cap um, for your child to wear on the playground. And you can also send a small brush. You can keep it in your child's bag and just let the teacher know that it's in there to brush sand out of your child's hair in case your child may be like another child that I saw on the playground who proceeded to take his cap off, fill it with sand, and then put the cap back on his head full of sand. I pray that that is not your child. Other than sand and keeping the children as clean as possible while still making them learn, teachers make every effort to keep the children safe while here at school. Students are always supervised by a member of the staff while on the playground and in the classroom. But in the event of a very rare and unfortunate case of an accident, Students are covered by an accident insurance in the event that they must be seen by a doctor and as a result of an accident here at the school. So know that, we're trying to keep your kids safe and we're making every effort to. However, there have been times, knock on wood, thank God there were none last year, um, but there are times when accidents occur, and for that reason, we do have accident insurance that covers the children while they are here at school. So learning occurs between 9 and 12. It's a small window. After 12, there's lunch and there's also um, a playground time um, for various children. So playground times will be staggered. However, um, there's a nap time and all the children take nap at the same time. Nap is from 1 to 2. We will make an effort to socially distance children who are at nap. We're having them sleep head to toe. As you can see in the picture, we're also, the picture on the slide, there's also makeshift shields that we are putting between children. And we also want to say that if you do not want your child to nap, feel free to come and retrieve them after 1. Um, if a child is still here after 1, the child will go down for nap, and they will only nap for 1 hour. And like I said, we will make an effort not to have them sleep head to head so that there's an easy transmission of germs, but we will have them sleep distance and head to toe. So after nap time, students get up and, like I said, they have a story time, they have a snack time, and they're basically engaging in some other kind of individualized activity, whether it be playing with a quiet game or watching an educational video until you come to collect them. School is officially dismissed at 3. However, you can come anytime after 2. Um, you have until 3:30. So 3:30 is the latest that a child can be at Dayspring. Um, so by 3:30, all children should be gone um, and collected. If you are having any difficulty, we advise and ask that you call the office to discuss further. When you come to collect your child, we remind you that we are still trying to limit the interaction of adults in the office, and so we advise you to remain in your car. We ask you to call the office. The office number again is 393-1879, and we advise you to call the office and say who you've come to collect, who you've come to pick up. You can also text 816-5729. When you call and say who you come to pick up, that child will then be taken to the bathroom and we will wash the child's hands, collect their bags. We will leave their face shields in the classroom, and then we'll bring the child out to you. If you are going to send somebody home to collect your child who is not you, we ask that you please call the office in advance with the name of the person picking up. We are, of course, going to ask um, for ID from that person. So again, don't come into the school if you don't have to, please. In the event of a hurricane, some other unusual weather event, or some announcement that the school must make, we are using 3 portals. And the portals are, we are using the WhatsApp broadcast list, we're using the email list, and that's eye contact, and we're also using our Facebook page. So you can listen out for announcements in those through one of those modalities. We also want to encourage you to please ensure that you are receiving messages by entering the school cell phone number in your phone's contact list. Unfortunately, if this number, this 8165729 school WhatsApp number is not entered in your phone's contact list, you will not be able to receive those broadcasts. So we remind you to please enter that number in your phone so that you can receive our messages. We do a lot of communication by WhatsApp. We do at least once weekly skills covered, and we also use Facebook as our um, means of advertising interesting things that your child does um, through Facebook, showing off our students and the wonderful things that they make, they say, and they learn. Because we do so much um, exchange of information and announcements through the telephone, through email addresses, we ask you to please keep your information updated in the office. And so if there's been any change in phone numbers, any email address um, changes or corrections, any change in your living address, or even change in your employment, please let the office know by completing an information update form. They're available at any time during the office. Also, just want to remind you, FYI, we do have your babies with us. There have been unfortunate times when we were trying to reach a parent, but unfortunately they had no minutes on their phones. We advise you to keep minutes on your cell phone because your child is away from you, and I would imagine that you would want to be able to get in contact with whoever is keeping your child. The goal of discipline is to teach. We are not punishers, although we do use punishment as a means of teaching. Our main job is to teach. And so our goal when a child misbehaves is to teach them the appropriate way to behave and the appropriate method of expressing themselves. And so we'll talk more about our discipline procedure in the next slide. So teaching involves a lot of instruction, a lot of repetition, and a lot of explanation as to exactly what is expected of your child as far as rules are concerned. So just know that we do not spank children as a method of discipline. Now, each teacher has a list of classroom rules that she has created of her own, and she expects her child to follow. And your child's teacher will give you more information about the rules that she expects your child to follow. However, we do have a discipline plan that we follow as a school, and the first step in that discipline plan is to let the children know what the rules are. And so whatever the rules that the teacher has in her classroom, it is her job to teach that information to her children from day one. And so there's going to be a lot of repetition going on as far as children repeating rules, children knowing rules, children reviewing rules during the circle time and various times during the class day. The teacher lets them know what behavior is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And she rewards those children who are following the rules. So that's the first step in our discipline plan. The next step is in our discipline plan is warning. So if a student chooses to behave incorrectly or inappropriately, then the teacher informs the student of what will happen if his behavior continues. And so that's the warning. So the teacher says, Johnny, you know the rule is that you should ask before you get out of your chair, or you should ask if you wanted to go to the bathroom. And if Johnny continues to just run out of the class but when he wants to use the bathroom, the teacher then warns him, Johnny, if you keep doing that, this is what's going to happen. And if the child continues to behave inappropriately, the teacher then moves to the punishment phase. Appropriate punishment includes separating the student from the group for a timeout or denying privileges um, such as a timeout or um, playtime, denial of playtime, or denial of another fun activity. And so we don't spank, but we deny a child privileges, and that seems to work beautifully. As I wrap up, I just want to remind you, as you're dropping and picking your child up, that parking is limited at Dayspring Academy. Please be considerate when you're parking by allowing others to park behind you. Do not park on the end so that people can't block you in. Pull all the way into the parking lot so that others can park behind you and make use of the small space. Remember that you are all just picking up or dropping off your children. You're not staying. Nobody here is staying except teachers. I also want to remind you that we live in a society where, especially at this time, there are a lot of people who are without jobs. And I want to remind you not to leave valuables in your car. Do not leave your purse on your seat. Do not leave your wallet where people can see it. Do not leave valuables in your car, such as your computer or any other valuables. People are desperate during these times when they are not working. And so we have had cars broken into. And I want to remind you not to make yourself a target by leaving items in your car that people would want and would break into your car. I also want to remind you not to leave your car running when you come into the school. These may seem obvious, and you may wonder why I'm saying them, but we have had incidents where persons have left their cars running with their purses in the cars. And we also have had incidents of cars being broken into. And so I'm asking you not to make yourself a target and not to attract people to our parking lot by making yourself a sitting duck. And that brings our presentation to an end. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us for this school year. And I want to remind you that if you have any questions, to please give us a call in the office. We do apologize for the lateness of this slide presentation. It's been an interesting journey getting to this point. We've had some technical difficulties along the way and some unfortunate setbacks that were not planned. And so hopefully things will go smoother. I am wishing you a safe and a productive school year. And like I said, call the office if you have any questions or reach out to us on the school cell phone. Bye-bye.